Studio? Are you working with 2017 Visual Studio, Bhargav? No, 2019, like this one. If you want to open the project property window also, select the project, select properties, that's all. Guys, be a bit careful with this XML file. All of you have a look. Yesterday, someone, I think Aishwarya, yeah, you faced the problems with this. Be careful. It is case sensitive, guys. It is case sensitive. You should be very careful with it. Every node should have a closing tag. Every tag should have a closing tag. See, you have a project tag. Compulsory, there should be a by project tag. Property group, by property group. Everything should end. Output type, by output type. Target framework, by target framework. Startup object, by startup object. Everything should have an ending tag. If any ending tag is missing, your code won't execute. Aishwarya, is your problem resolved yesterday? I think he's not responding. Okay. Okay. So be careful, guys. When you're typing this, all of you, when you're typing this, use IntelliSense. That's what I'm telling you. Use IntelliSense. What do you mean? Say, startup, select from this because it is case sensitive. If you type wrong, you'll get errors. So better select from here, and it only writes you the ending tag also for you. Then write your namespace name dot class you wanted to run. Case sensitive, guys, be careful. Okay. Well, guys, it's a very great sign. See, if you have errors, just post the errors in the errors in the group, and I could see many people responding for the errors and telling clarifications for that, how to do. Someone written a main method outside the class, right line statement out of the main. You cannot write anything out of the main here. I mean, directly in a class, you cannot write any logic. Directly in a class, you cannot write any logic. See, I want to write a console.write line statement here. You can't do that. This is wrong. You cannot write logic directly in the class. Logic should be always inside a method. Did you understand me? You cannot write any logic directly inside a class. Then what is the use of class? Class is only a collection of members. You can declare members in that. Can I declare a field here? Yes. Int x is equals to 100. This is valid. Guys, this is valid. But again, this is invalid. Huh? What is invalid? This is invalid. Did you understand me, guys? No one is responding. Are you there? You cannot implement any logic in a class. Class can be used only for defining the members. Is a member declaration valid? This is logic. You can't do that. Logic should always be inside a method. Okay, now don't forget that. So that's why yesterday someone was writing console.write line directly in the class. You can't do that. Class is a collection of members. Class cannot contain the logic directly in it. Logic should be always inside the method. Okay? Okay, guys. Already last class we have seen how to define the methods in the class and all. Fine. Let me tell you some few important things today. What is it? If you want to add a class, what are you doing? You will right click on the project and select add new item. A window opens to you. And that you will be selecting a class. Basically choose Codia, you'll be finding class only. And when you add a class, it is going to provide you a template for writing the code. It will write you the using statement, namespace, class and all. And it will give you a template. Say just if I say add, it will give you a template for writing the code. Basic things it will write so that directly you can write the contents inside the class. Okay? Same like this, guys. Same like this. We have another option here called code file. What is a code file? Both are same only, but when you add a class, it will provide you one template for writing the code. How? It will write you a using statement, namespace name, class name and all, and leaves for you to write the remaining code. But when we talk about a code file, see what the extension of a class .cs. If you talk about a code file, this is also .cs file only. Watch it, this is also .cs file only. But it is a blank file where you require to write everything on your own. This is just like a notepad. When we used to write the code in the initial classes using the notepad, remember we open a notepad, blank notepad and start writing the code. It's also exactly the same one. Are you getting me? Okay. It's also exactly just like writing code in the notepad. That's it. So you can use these code files. This also we can use. Next one. Guys, listen to me. In one class, in one file, can I write multiple classes? Listen to me again carefully what I'm asking. In one file, can I write multiple classes? Yes, you can write. Okay? In one file, guys, you can write any number of classes. Oh, can I write multiple classes? Yes, there's an option. You can write any number of classes, but main method should be in one class only. Did you understand my point? You write 10 classes, no problem. But in all the 10 classes, you cannot write the main method. Main method should be in one class only. In which class? That is your choice. You can write main method in any class. Okay? Then we'll have a doubt here. Sir, what should I give the name to my file then? You can give any name here, no problem. You can give any name, no problem. But generally, what they say is, in which class you're writing the main method, which class you're writing the main method, better use that name as a file name. Got it? You can give any name, no problem. But in which class you're writing the main method, better use that name to the file, that's all. It's not mandatory, it's only a suggestion, that's all. What way to write file name? Yeah, you'll save a file now. Where you'll write file name? You'll save a file now. Read these 2 points once. Are you clear, guys? Okay. Okay. The really silly doubt, Rahul. File name is name of the file. File name is name of the file. Class name is the name of the class. I am writing a class here, class 1. Class 2. Class 3. These are class names. Now tell me what is the name of the file. Guys, now tell me what should be the name of the file. 5.cs. That is what I was telling you. 5.cs. These are classes. In that, I need to give you the name of file now. What name? Main method is present here because we'll give 5.cs. Okay, guys? Okay, fine. Guys, listen, eh? I want to write a method, guys. I want to write a method. What the method has to do, The method when I write what the method has to do is, yeah, all of you carefully listen to me. I want to write one method, guys. What the method has to do, if I pass the employee number to the method, if I pass the employee number to the method, it has to get me the name of the employee. Did you understand? If I pass a number to the method, it should get me the name of the employee. Okay? And we need to write the logic for that. That is all database programming. We are not learning about database programming. It's not about database programming. So what should be the signature of the method? What should be the signature of the method? Public. What it has to bring you? Name. Name is Stringolina. String. Some name to the method. Get name. Int employee number. Guys, this is called as signature of the method. What do we call? Signature of the method. Don't bother about the logic. We are not talking about the logic here. So can you understand? This method takes a parameter. What is the parameter? Guys, come on. This method employee number. And it will get you what? It will get you what? Name. And name is a string. Name is a string, remember? So the return type is string. Same way, can you tell me the signature for the method? What is it? Should take the number and get the job. Should take the number and get the job. Tell me the signature. Should take the number and get the job. Another method. Come on. Another method I want. Come on. Tell me the signature. Perfect, Shrikant. Public string get job. Int employee number. Array parameter, you're ignoring that. Be clear. Okay? Same way, can you write me a signature for salary now? Salary. Write the same complete signature, Amit, not a simple get salary. You are right, you are wrong. Why salary will give you string here? Why salary string, Srikanth? And int is also wrong only. Why? Okay. Why int, guys? Salary will have decimal values now. So double is right, decimal is right. Those who return double and decimal is right. Yeah, double is also okay, decimal is also okay. Money is not available in C#. Get salary. Hey, money is a SQL Server data IP, not C# data. Okay. Now, can you write me for this status? Can you write me for the status? Status. Perfect. Are you guys clear? So did you understand the signaturing of a method? Means when you're writing a method, you should be clear. What should I pass? What should I get? What should I pass? What should I get? I need to pass a number, integer. I need to get a boolean. That is signaturing a method. Okay? But here I have a small problem. What is the problem? I want to write a method which is going to return all the four. Did you understand me? I want a method which is going to return all the four. Means name, job, salary, status, everything it has to return. Really confusing now? Why? How can I return all these four values? Suppose you take string. Okay. So like this, it has to go for returning multiple values. It has to go for returning multiple values. Santoshi, did you complete your C sharp? Yeah. You cannot do this in the older versions. Yeah, this is the latest version. That is possible only in the C sharp 7. It's not possible in the old versions. Okay. So now I want to go for returning four different values like this. So basically, how we do that, how we do that, guys, remember one thing here. String. String is one predefined class, guys. Yeah, string is one predefined class. And don't forget, every class is a type. Every class is a type. And string is one class and every class is a type. Now, the string class is used as the return type of a method now. The string class is used as the return type of a method. And the string class is predefined. And this string class is predefined. Okay? This double and boolean are structures. This double and bool are structures. Every class, every structure is a type, a predefined type. Now guys, observe me, observe this. I'm writing one class like this. I'm writing my own class like this. This is my class. And every class is, what did I say? Every class is a type. Every class is a type. Okay? Now, can I do this, guys? Can I do this? Public emp get details into emp number. Guys, did you understand this? Now tell me, here, guys, yeah, this method returns a string. This method returns a string. String will contain how many values? One value. This method returns a double. Okay, this method returns a double. And double will contain how many values? One value. This method returns a boolean. How many values? One value. But look at this, guys. This method returns a EMP. EMP contains how many values? Five. Amit, 5. Employee number also is there. 5 values. Did you understand, guys? So basically understand, EMP is a simple type or complex type. Read this, you'll understand what I'm trying to explain. Read this. Read this paragraph. Did you understand that paragraph? Okay, now? So I will show you all these 3 things to you at a time now. Watch. All these 3 things I'll show you at a time. Let me add one code file in the project. One code file in the project. I will name it as user defined types.cs. Any name you have, my choice. User defined types.cs. Okay. Now you're required to write everything on your own, starting from using system. Afterwards, your namespace name. What's your namespace name? Your project name only. And all of you guys, when you're typing, my suggestion for you all is take the help of IntelliSense. If you take the help of IntelliSense, it will become easy for you. Means case sensitive problems won't come. Okay. Now in this, I'm going to define 2 classes. One class is user defined types. Means I named this name only to my file. Means I'm going to write the main method here. I'm going to write the main method here. And in the same file, I'm also going to write another class. Class EMP, public int number, public string name comma job, public double salary, and public bool status. Are you guys clear? How many classes are in the file? Two classes. Why 4 classes, Roja? 2 classes. EMP user defined types. Okay. And in which class did I write the main method? User defined types. I written the main method in user defined type. That's why my file name is user defined types.cs. My file name is user defined types.cs. Are you clear? Now see. In this class, just like you write a method public string get name int e number, just for example, public string get name int e number. What you write in this string str is equals to Scott and return str. Did you understand this logic? Same like this, guys. Same like this. Observe. Public EMP get details. int e number. Okay, here the return type is string. So you created one string object and returning. You are creating one string and returning. Same way, here the return type is emp. So you should create a emp and return now. Emp obj is equals to new emp. Okay, but here you understand a string, it is a scalar type here, it takes one value only. But this is going to take 5 values. Obj dot employee number is equals to the same employee number only. Obj dot name is equals to Scott. Obj dot job is equals to manager. Obj dot salary is equals to 25,000. Obj dot status is equals to true and return obj. Now compare the two methods, understand the difference. This is scalar type. One value return over. But emp is not a scalar type, it's a complex type. How many values? 5 values and then return. Any doubts? Now you understand, the first method returns only one value, but the second method returns 5 values. Is that clear, guys? The second method returns 5 values. Actually, guys, listen, because we don't know database coding now, I have written up static values there. But in the future, we can write code to get the values from the database. Means if you pass a number, based on the number, it will load the data from the database. Got it? But today we don't know database programming. That's why they can static values and return you. But later all these values will come from a database. Understood? Okay, now? Fine. Let me remove this. Yeah. Next, come to main method and we need to call the method. Create the instance of your class now. User defined types UDT is equals to new user defined types and call the method. For the method UDT dot get details. What is the return type of this method? What is the return type of this method? Array EMP yaar, EMP. The return type of the method is EMP, EMP. See, yesterday your method returned a string. Yesterday your method returned a string. When your method returned a string, did you declare one string variable and capture it? Yesterday your method returned a string. You declared a string variable and captured it. Same way today your method's return type is EMP. So what you're going to do, you know, EMP E is equals to. Are you clear? Why? What is your question, yeah? You can assign any value, yeah. Already we are getting some value now. That value taken here, that's all. You can assign whatever you want to assign. No problem at all. I said, you know, in the future, all this will come from database. Today, statically, I just assigned that's all. No, you cannot print E directly. You cannot print E directly. You cannot print. Why? E is a complex type containing 5 values in it. So E cannot be printed directly. Then how to print the values? Individually, we should print console.writeLine E dot employee number plus E dot name plus, no need for loop also, E dot job plus E dot salary plus and E dot status. Understood, guys? Okay, go to startup object and set the startup object as user defined types. User defined types. Today, all these are static values, guys, what are coming. But in the future, what will happen, here, if you specify one employee number, all the data will come from the database. You specify an employee number, that will come from the database. Suppose you specify 1012, Williams, manager, 12,000 calls. This will come from the database. Okay. But today, our intention is not about database programming. That is a high time to talk about database programming. You will not understand right now. Just to make you understand how to define methods, I was telling that, sir. So what I explained you today, user defined types to a method. All these three things I explained, Are you clear, guys? Code files, multiple classes, and user defined return types. All the three I explained for you in a single shot. Any doubts? Okay, now. Okay, fine. Next. The next thing what we are going to learn right now is, guys, about parameters to methods. Remember parameters to a method. I already said you, parameters of a method will make a method dynamic. By passing parameters, we made this method dynamic yesterday, remember? Test 2, test 4, these two methods are dynamic. Dynamic in behavior. The test 2 method will print the multiplication table of any given number. Test 4 method converts any given string into uppercase. These methods are dynamic. The parameters will always make a method dynamic. And how do you pass parameters to a method? If at all you want to pass parameters to a method, guys, this is the syntax to pass parameters to a method, guys. This is the syntax to pass parameters to a method. Okay, have a look on that. There are so many optional things there. Ref for out is optional. Yeah, look, ref for out is optional. Params is optional. Is equals to default value is optional. N is optional. Are you clear? Ref for out is optional. Params is optional. Is equals to default value is optional. N is optional. What is mandatory? Type parameter name is mandatory there. That's all. Type parameter name. Yeah. See, today we just passed it now. Type name. Hey guys, watch here. Type name. Data type name. Can I have multiple parameters to your method? Something like int a, comma, int b, comma, int c, comma. Can I pass multiple parameters to your method? That is what n is. N represents n parameters. N represents n parameters. Now in this, what we'll have doubt is, we'll have doubt on three things now. What are the three things? Sir, what is this is equals to default value? What is this params? What is this ref for out? These are the three things what we'll be having a doubts now. Okay, I'll clarify. I'll clarify these three things today. See, parameters of a method are divided into three categorizations here. Parameters of a method are divided into three categorizations. What are the three categorizations? We call them as input parameters, output parameters, and in-out parameters. Parameters of a method are divided into input, output, in-out. What is input parameter? Input parameter means this parameter will take a value into the method for execution of that method. Input parameter means this parameter will take a value into the method for the execution of the method. When the value goes into the method for the execution of that particular method. Second, output parameter. What is the output parameter? This parameter will bring a result out of the method after execution of the method. This parameter will bring a result out of the method after execution of the method. Means input parameter will take a value for execution of the method, and output parameter will bring a result after execution of the method. Did you understand, guys? Hello. Input parameter will take a value into the method for execution of the method. Output parameter will bring a result after execution of the method. Are you there? Respond here. If this is a method, input parameter will bring a value for execution of the method. Input parameter will bring a value for execution of the method. Output parameter will carry the results after execution of the method. Input, output. There is a third category, in-out parameter. In-out parameter. What is in-out parameter? In-out parameter is a combination, guys. That only will bring one value and that only will return a value. Let me complete, Shrikant. Let me complete. In-out means that only will bring a value and that only will return a value also. Means both, it will do both the two jobs. Input parameter will only bring the value, output parameter will only carry the value. But in-out parameter will do both the two things. It will first bring the value, afterwards it will carry the value. Both the two things it will. Okay? See, guys. I'm writing a method here. Public int math int a comma int b. Int a comma int b. Now I'm writing int c is equals to a plus b, and I'll say return c. Are you guys clear with the code? Simple method here, adding two numbers and returning the sum. Simple code, nothing special there. Okay? Can I write like this? Int d is equals to a into b, and here I'll say return d. Can I write the method like this? No, we cannot write the method like this. Can't we write? No, we can't write. Why you can't write? Because, listen guys, return is a jump statement. Return is a jump statement. When I use return here, the control will immediately jump out of the method. Did you understand? When I use return here, the control will immediately jump out of the method, and this statement is unreachable. So, did you understand how many values a method can return? How many values a method can return? Only one. Only one. To resolve this problem, you can write like this. Int a comma int b comma out int c comma out int d. Guys, watch. These two are input parameters and these two are output parameters. And inside of the code, I'm writing c is equals to a plus b and d is equals to a into b. Did you understand? And this is the answer for you, Srikanth. Guys, please read this one. I forgot. Please read this here. From here to here. Read this, please. Read it. Yeah, default is input. Read that, you'll understand. I hope everyone is clear. So by default, everything is input parameter. If you want to make a parameter output, you write out. If you want to make a parameter in out, use ref. Okay, watch. Let me add one new class. I will name the class as output parameters.cs. Now in this class, let me define this method now. Guys, clear? I will write the method name as math1, any name, no issue. And I want to call it now. How to call? Static void main. Let me call the method. Look at this, guys. I want to call the method. First, create the instance of your class. Created the instance. You want to call the method. Now see, in the previous example, your method is returning one value. When your method returns one value, did you declare one variable to capture that value or not? When your method returns one value, you declare one variable to capture that value, yes or not? Okay, so you declared one variable to capture that particular value. Now, this method returns one value or two values. This method is going to return two values. So, guys, look here. You need to declare two variables here. Sum1, comma, product1, and then you need to call it obj.math1, okay, 100, comma, 25, comma, out sum1, out product1. Guys, did you understand that? How to call the method? This is how you should call the method. What is confusion in that, Amit? I don't understand. See, A and B are input parameters. I'm passing the value. C and D are output parameters. I'm substituting the variables here. I am substituting the variable, the sum one here, the product one here. So once the execution is completed, see console.writeLine, sum of the given two numbers is plus sum one, and same like that. Product of the given two numbers is product one. See that? It will print you the sum and product of the numbers. Got the result? Understood, guys? So basically, you can just write like this. Actually, this feature was introduced. This particular feature, they just introduced these output parameters like this and given you for returning multiple values. You can write this code in another way, guys. Another way you can write the code. What that is? Watch this here. obj.math1 100, 25. You declare the variable sum1 product one now. You declare the variable sum1 product one separately now. Without declaring separately, you can say outint outint sum2. You can declare this like this. This is a new feature added in C# 7.0. From C# 7.0 only you can do this. Earlier you cannot do. You'll get the same output, guys. You'll get the same output. But I'm telling you, array, without separately declaring it, you can declare it on this particular line only. And this is a C# 7.0 feature. If you don't use this sum1 product one, where do you get the result? Where the results will be stored? The method is bringing back the results. You need to store the result now. See? Watch this. You're calling the method test3. Why did you declare this string? To capture the result only now? This string is to capture the result. Same way, this sum1 and product one are to capture the results. Amit, this sum1 and product one are to capture the results. Did you understand? So first you require to declare the variables and then you require to substitute. So the result will come into sum1 and product one. You ask a question and again don't respond. Okay. In C# 7 onwards, they introduced a feature. What is the feature? No need to declare this sum1 and product one separately. You can declare it on the same line. Are you guys clear? This is from C# 7. And this is before C#. Okay, now? And one more thing also I need to explain you guys. One more thing also I need to explain you. Some of you people are telling it earlier. Can a method return two values? Can a method return two values? Can a method return two values? No, na? But it can return, guys. Actually, it can return. It can return, yeah. Actually, that was introduced. That was also introduced in C# 2.7.0 only. That was also introduced in C# 7 point only. Now you can write like this. Int A comma int B. Int C is equals to A plus B. Int D is equals to A into B. And now you can say return C comma D. Guys, this method from C# 7, you can write like this. Understood, guys? This is from a feature in C# 3. Earlier, Santoshi and someone said that like string, comma, double comma, bal. Yeah, you can do that. But you can do it only from C# 7. In the old versions, it is not possible. But in the new versions, you can do it. Okay? Int, comma, int, you can do it like this. Then how to call this method? You call the method like this, guys. Guys, you need to call the method like this. You need to call the method like this. Int sum3, comma, int product 3 is equals to obj dot math to 100, comma 25. You now understand what that should be another variable. Yeah, 2 here. 2 are there na, in the brackets. You can take different data types also. 1 int 1 string I want to take. You can take, no problem. And see, guys, how to call it. A and B are input parameters here. These are input parameters. These are inputs. These are return types. These are different. Guys, what's the process of calling? It returns 2 values and you're required to capture the 2 values like this. Sum3, product 3. I'll get the same result because I passed the same input. You change the values, you'll get different outputs. You can call another way, guys. You can call this another way also. Where sum4, comma, product 4 is equals to obj dot math to 100, comma 25. You can call like this also. This is another style of calling. So guys, what you do, what you do is first write the code, practice the code. Write the code, practice the code first. Write it, practice it. And after writing, practicing, then if you have any doubts, let me know. Okay? I'm stopping it here. You write it, you practice it, and tomorrow come back with your doubts. If you have any doubts, come back with your doubts in the tomorrow session. I'm stopping it here. We'll meet tomorrow. Bye, guys. Tomorrow, Eid festival. I don't know, yaar. I don't know. Is it confirmed? Did you see the moon today? Okay, if it is confirmed, they will announce the holiday. I don't know. Just to speak with Rambabu once. I don't have any information there. Speak with Rambabu. If it is confirmed, they will announce holiday on the they will announce on that day. Okay? Once speak with Rambabu. Yeah, someone asking to debug the code. You do it, yeah. You do it. Why are you asking me to debug the code? You do the debugging. Arey, you should come out with your doubts. Everything I should not go for spoon feeding, na? You do it. You face a problem, then come back to me, sir. I'm facing this problem. I'll tell you how to resolve it. Okay. Bye, guys. We'll meet tomorrow.